Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This 7 or 8 minute video is going to feature the XK X380, my very first camera bird that the last time I used it, it started acting up a little bit and exhibiting its in a toilet bowl problem where it starts to wander off in circles by itself. So I decided to put in a little bit of a test flight and test out if it's really got problems. So I spent extra time doing a gyro calibration and a compass calibration, and after I took off, I let it hover for a second and rotated it with the yaw control several turns, both to the left and to the right, because there are some quads that use that as a calibration factor. And then I let it set for a little bit and wanted to see if it would stay still. So since it did, I decided, well, we'll go out over here over the lake. And I saw a boat out on the lake, and you can see the lake is like glass. This is Lake Erie, and I'm flying this FPV with a fairly small screen diversity monitor back at the transmitter, and I'm looking at the screen trying to find out where, find that boat, because I wanted to fly over that boat. And when I was flying out, I didn't see it, and I says, well, maybe I passed it up. So I started heading back, and I realized, man, I couldn't have passed it up that much. If you look out there, when I turn here a little bit back to the right, you'll see it. It's out there right now in the center of the screen, and I knew that it had to be out in this direction. So, but I couldn't quite make it out on the small monitor. So I'm thinking I should ditch the 7-inch monitor that I have and pick up one of the newer, bigger 10-inch monitors, and maybe that would allow me to see it. So I flew at full speed in that direction, still didn't see it on my monitor. So I decided, well, for the rest of the flight, what I'm going to do is just put the pitch stick full forward and fly this thing at full speed back and forth over the water across, just fly it back and forth and see how it behaves. Now, some of you who are not familiar with the XK X380, it's a fairly old design. Mine is, I added a bunch of things to it to make it usable as a camera bird, including the OEM gimbal and the Gitup Git2 camera and a DAL OSD. It gives me a telemetry back at the thing, so I know what the battery level is, and things like that. I also replaced the original propellers with Phantom 3 props, so that they're balanced a little bit better, and it takes vibrations out. But this particular quadcopter is not very fast. Okay, when it comes from the factory, the way it's initially set up, and here we're going at full forward pitch back and forth across the lake, and I'm heading towards the shore here, and I'm on the other side of that fence, and to me, it was making a lot of noise, but it really wasn't moving very fast. As I said, when it comes from the factory, it's set up, the speed is set up in meters per second. Okay, so initially it comes set up at 6 meters per second, which breaks down to about 13.5 miles per hour. Now, my toy grade SEMA X5C can fly faster than 13.5 miles an hour. Every one of my little FPV racers, could fly faster than that. So they do have configuration. There you saw the gimbal vibrate. Every once in a while it spazzes out. I have no idea why it does that. I've tried checking it out with the gimbal adjustment software, but it doesn't seem to help. It just does that, occasionally, and I just put up with it. So sometimes I edit out the parts where it goofs off. But anyway, getting back to the configuration software, you can go into configuration software and change some of the parameters, and the max that you can set this quadcopter to fly at is 12 meters per second, which would in miles per hour is 27 miles per hour. Well, even my little Spark, which is about maybe 1/5 the size of this or less, and it can fly faster than that. You can go like over 30 miles an hour. And I've talked to guys who've upped it to that speed, and then they say it becomes a little bit unstable, and it's so rather than max it out to the max speed that they have in the configuration settings, I had set mine to like 8 meters per second, and 8 meters per second is roughly 18 miles per hour. So that's what we're doing here. We're doing 18 miles per hour, which is not fast at all, but it's as fast as this XK X380 will do. You compare that with my Phantom 3 Advanced, which I use on a lot of my videos. I've flown that over the lake on windier days and I had a tailwind. I took it out to the west and brought it back about 6 feet off the water with a tailwind, and I had it up to 51 miles per hour. So this one here is definitely not fast, but it still works. It's still usable, and I like using it for maybe a dozen shoots a year. We're going to come back over the fence here and going into what is called Tuttle Park. It was named after the people that donated this land to Madison community, and this park has got lots of picnic tables, a picnic area, a pavilion, swing sets for the kids. And since it was behaving, I stopped it there for a second just to see if it was going to break into any weird behavior, but it didn't. So we decided to fly it out here towards these set of concrete picnic tables. All the picnic tables here are made from concrete, which eliminates not only having to do any maintenance on them, like wire brushing them and painting them every year, but it also makes it so no one can walk off with them, because they weigh I don't know what they weigh, but they weigh more than a person could possibly lift up, or 2 or 3 persons even. So we're just flying it back and forth here, and then one of my fellow YouTubers that I'm always razzing, DJ Soulforce of Soulforce Squads, I'm always egging him on to fly through the pavilion where he flies at. So I decided to fly my XK380 through the pavilion, and I just barely missed that tree there, but close only counts in horseshoes, I guess. So anyways, we wanted to get it checked out, and it seems to be behaving itself, so I'm satisfied that it's ready to go for the next shoot. We're going to put it down here on top of this table. Thanks for stopping by and watching this, and leave a comment if you feel so inclined. We hope to catch you in an upcoming video. We've got more stuff to shoot this summer, and we'll see you again in the next video.